What up, party people? Are we ready for this monotonous, slow grind of a day to instantly come to an end? With a bang, not a whimper. With a bang. We are a mere 2 minutes away from these FOMC notes getting dropped. And of course, the second that they do, expect this market to go absolutely ape shit crazy. It is worth noting a lot of times they get a move in one direction that gets like for example, let's say it's up, they get a push higher and then it reverses and heads lower from there. So that is one thing to keep in mind. There is often a quick auction in one direction that instantly reverses itself. But no matter what, it is going to be completely random. This market can start to pump and then instantly dump, and you can expect a lot of volatility. So that's going to kick in 1 minute when the clock strikes 2 p.m. Usually lasts about 15 minutes or so. The market will be all over the place. Lots of volatility, lots of speed, very unpredictable, support and resistance. Then it'll mellow out. It'll slow down a little bit. And then at 2:30, when the Fed chairman starts to speak, it'll go nuts again. So as I was talking about earlier in the brigade, the only real way I have found to trade these FOMC notes is pretty much to just get in a trade, pucker up my butthole real tight, wait till I'm in the profits, and then just move my stop above break even and trail the stop. And basically what you're hoping for is just to get lucky. So say the market starts to trade higher, comes back down. Okay, here we go. The notes are out. You get into the long, and then if it works out, you just trail it until you get filled. You don't want to stick around for these trades very long because this market will get random and can reverse anywhere. Michael, what happened to the runner? I thought you were going to leave a runner with no stops. So we are off to the races. And so far, we're just grinding around that point of control. Those bots, those computers are reading those notes and they're deciding, do they want to go long or short? Wait, am I wrong here, guys? That the chair isn't going to speak? That Papa Powell's not speaking today? I thought he would talk at 2:30. Am I wrong? Help me out, chat. Where we at? Soul Crusher time. Soul Crusher time. Well, so far, Soul Rotator time. Oh, just the minutes? Oh, what a disappointment. Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have done a whole separate live stream. Shit, I thought he was also talking. Well, then this is going to be quick. It'll just be the bots. All right, well, we wasted our time doing this whole stream. But anyway, it'll just be the bots kicking in, so we may get some volatility for a few minutes. But then once it settles, we're just back to normal. Sorry, I overhyped it. My bad. All right, so the staff lowered the growth forecast. The participants are seeing downside risk. Some evidence of supply constraints easing. That's bullish. It's kind of feeling like a nothing burger. All right, so we're now right back to the conversation about the balance area that the market has been in. And is this going to be the breakout of balance? Obviously, before we can assume that's going to happen, we got to get above the B period high or the A period high. Yeah, the A period high from today, as that will be a breakout of rotation. But if we get that breakout, it would be very bullish for continuation. All right, it looks like they want to break it out to the upside. So remember, there's a lot of people that were going short today. As the market was just grinding around, they got to unwind those shorts. So what we're looking for is a push above the A period high that comes back down and finds support to make sure it's not just short covering. Monsieur Gaylord, bunch of mofos, just got liquidated on BTC. I thought BTC was pumping today. Damn. No, it's doing good. 23 or 2,300. Still pumping. Did you guys see my Jim Cramer tweet joke? Jim Cramer tweeted this morning like, it's time for crypto. And I was like, well, there goes BTC. Correct. Yeah, this so far is just short covering. We've got no new buying here. I mean, honestly, we can just treat this like normal rotation. The tempo is much faster. But this is just good old fashioned rotation. Back to the POC. How can I tell the difference between whether it's short covering or it's new money buying? Because of those ticks. So if it had been new buyers stepping in, it should have stayed above the zero line. The fact that it popped up there and then popped right back down, that means that was just shorts getting out of their trade, not new people going long. Okay, so now we're looking for support right around the 38.19 level. Or sorry, 38.19. Well, shucks, guys. I'm truly disappointed. I was hoping for a true FOMC day. Looks like we have ourselves a nothing burger. Oh, good catch. Yeah, that's weak. Weak J period high. Actually, and weak J low. Makes sense. It's just bots trading right now. So if we don't get a breakout in the next 2 hours, a breakout would be either getting below the low or above the high that we currently have for the day. Obviously, if we get below the low, it's a look above and fail of the balance area, and we're looking for continuation down. If we get above the high, it's a breakout of the balance, and we're looking for continuation up. But what if we don't get it? What if we just rotate until the close? Well, then I suspect the move will happen in the overnight, and we'll have to wait till tomorrow morning to find out about it. I think the probability of another overnight rotating inside this range again would be very, very low. Kenny, welcome. Thank you for the sub. Rocket, what's the bigger news on Thursday? Alexandra, I was expecting a 100-point move. You and me both, man. I thought this thing was about to just blast off. Giles says, yesterday's spike still relevant. We didn't hold below the break this morning. It's tricky, man. Not really. Like the base of the spike, that specific level doesn't mean anything. But the question of like opening inside the spike or opening above the spike is bullish. That is still in play. And I mean, if you were to put a gun to my head and force me to decide right now which direction I think the market will break, I think it'll break to the upside. Rocket jobless claims tomorrow. Jobless claims. Yeah, I mean, to me, any bad news in here seems like it was already priced in. So if we're dancing around right at the top of a balance area, where the market wants to break out of balance, we've been waiting to find out if we're going to get bad news, and it's not that bad. It would seem to me the easiest move would be higher. The path of least resistance. Andy, why the upside? So yeah, one thing that we look at with market profile trading is the auction process. And part of the auction process is what we call balancing areas, where the market gets kind of stuck in a range. And so it's like once you test one end of the range, you often head straight to the other. And if you fail to break out, as we did here in the overnight the night before last, it then makes the market go all the way to the opposite end, right? Which is what we did basically in the overnight the night before last and the beginning of the morning yesterday. Then we found support once again at the lower end of the balance area, which then triggered the market turning around and going straight up once again to the opposite end of balance by the end of the day yesterday, right? So the next thing we would expect to see, much like this overnight, if the market can't break out to the upside, it's going to turn around and head right back down to the opposite end. Well, that happened this morning. We tried to break out to the upside and failed, pulled back into balance, but we didn't get that big sell-off. So that to me is what we call a when what should happens doesn't, right? When the highest statistical probability is a certain thing happening and the opposite of that happens, then you pretty much just reverse the perspective. So if we failed to break out this morning and pulled back into the balance area, but we didn't rotate to the opposite end, it increases the odds that actually the market's trying to break out. And it just wasn't quite ready this morning. So that is why I say, I lean more towards continuation to the upside. And I will know I'm wrong if we break today's range to the downside. So if we push in the next, hour and a half, if we push down below that E period low, come back up and find some resistance, well, then I'm happy to go short all the way down to that opposite end of balance. But I would need to see that happen first. Otherwise, as long as we stay above this E period low and below this A period high, we're just going to keep doing this. Okay, back to the POC. Two-way auction starts again. Okay, we're starting to get some new buyers up here. Looks like they want to head up and repair that weak J period high. Okay, there's the repair, setting ourselves up for a breakout to the upside. So again, what we're looking for, can the market get above that A period high, come back down and find some support for continuation? If not, we remain rotational and the target remains the POC. As the ticks are pulling their way back down to the zero line, we're looking for buyers to step in here, get a little pop back up. We have buyers. It's a little bit bullish to see. Let's pop over and take a look at the NQ. Ooh, NQ is breaking out. Look at that. They got the push above. Now they're looking for that support around the A period high. That's bullish. So what we'd ideally like to see is enough volume over here to turn some candlesticks pink above that A period high. That is a sign of new buyers trying to take the market further. Next major resistance at 11,945. Yeah, do it, buyers. Do it. All right, well, I'm bullish on a breakout. They want it. They're begging for it. So now same story on the ES. We're looking for it to pull back down to that A period high around 38.52 and bring in some buyers there. Create some support around that A period high. Next major resistance for the ES is around 38.63. So we are getting some support above the A period high, but it's very thin volume. We need a lot more new buyers up here or they're going to pull back in. Ticks are telling us market's getting a little bit overbought here. It needs to pull back in for that support right around 52. Moment of truth. Another failed breakout. There we go. Well, they've got the momentum, but they don't have the volume. Let's pop over and take a look at the Q. See what the volume's doing there. And they don't have it either. Come on, buyers. All right, so the ES is testing this resistance around 63. Next major resistance is going to be up there at 38.7550. That should be pretty strong. That was as it was the base of a set of single prints down. And we still don't really have strong support up here. This is FOMO buying. Xavier, is the taper bad? It's not really about taper. It's about overall volume at this point, right? So to keep the momentum going higher, we know they got to bring in a decent number of new buyers up here. They should certainly be able to turn a candle pink if they are going to get continuation to the upside. Somewhere above this A period high, right? They should be able to turn a candle pink, and they still haven't done it. Screwball, but it's building some volume up there. It's starting to. It's trying to. We do not want a big red tick that breaks the uptrend. So there's three things that I need to see to trust a breakout from rotation. The first, I want to see the market push above the A period high, come down and find support. It's doing that so far. The next, I want to see the ticks trending higher and staying above the zero line. So the fact that this has pulled back below is a sign that this breakout might be ready to fail. Now they could always wick it. They could flick it right back up there real quick and we'll be okay. But that is a signal from the market that we don't have the buyers up here that we need. And then, of course, the last signal is bringing in enough volume to turn a candle pink. So the market generated information right now is 50-50. Andy, in the chart, it already pierced, but could it be a liquidity run? Yeah, that's basically the question I'm asking myself right now, right? Is this just short covering? Is this just the people who were going short earlier in the day exiting their trades, giving new sellers a chance to pile on? Or is this new buyers trying to take the market higher? All those things I just mentioned, getting above the 8-period high, keeping the ticks trending, and bringing in the volume, those are the confirmations that it's new buyers trying to take the market higher. If not, this was just a giant stop run, and we'll be right back at the POC in no time. All right. They don't have the buyers. Looks like this bad boy's about to fail. Pump those ticks. Pump those ticks. You know you want to. Auntie, I just want to sell it. Not yet, man. If they pull back into the A period, if they pull back below 52, then you can look at a sell. Okay, they wicked it. They saved the ticks. So now the only confirmation that we're waiting for is that pink candle. We're about 5,000 contracts away. Scooball, do you feel like there is momentum? Don't look at the ticks again. You mean answer the question without looking at the ticks? Yeah, there's momentum, man. They're breaking out. It's not super strong momentum, but it's enough for now. Every minute that they spend up here, they're convincing more and more people to trust it. They're getting more and more acceptance. All those people who've been going short, looking for that reversion to the mean trade, they're starting to say to themselves, shit, maybe I'm wrong. ZD, how would you describe the pink candle if I'm not using your software? So it's the volume profile for the day's range. So from the market open till now, and it's the middle 40% of volume. I mean, you can just eyeball it, right? You can zoom out and kind of just look at your volume profile for the day and kind of see like how big are the biggest ranges, how big is like the middle-ish ranges. Are we getting that much? Visually, you can see we're starting to get it. We're starting to get that little node that's just building and building there. To be honest with you, I just use the pink candle because it's very simplistic for teaching purposes. But it's not an exact science. It's really just new volume up here at the high. Scooball ticks are all the time below the zero line. They don't look like it to me. They look like they're trending higher. Remember, you have to ignore big wicks like this. That's just a fluke. That was 2 minutes ago. Fair enough. They can change quick. Blue shirt, that's because I am. I'm in your closet. Don't turn around. Okay, so we've left behind a set of single prints there from the K period, increasing the odds. The market will need to pull back down to that A period high, the base of those single prints, looking for support. But it is higher odds that we will now find it there. What's a good structural stop? Well, I would give it a little bit of breathing room. It would be the A period high, but I would say maybe like 30.50. All right, so now we got the big red tick. We're pulling back down into the A period, and we never did turn any of those candles pink. All right, it would appear we have a failed breakout. Market is rotational. Target is once again the POC. They gave it a noble effort, man. They really tried. There is also a chance we don't make it back to the POC. We may just come back and test this node of volume right at the balance area high and just find support there for another attempt to break out. But honestly, with the L period, they'd pull the POC higher anyway. Banana BTV? That's a fun name. Banana BTV. What does it mean for QQQ? Probably that the upside momentum is over. They've gone as high as they're going to go. Yeah, NQ. It's actually a little more bullish. So for the NQ, for the breakout to fail, you want to see them pull back down below 11,882. If they do, the target becomes 11,804. All right, so we got our first pink candle up here above the A period high. So now we got to look at the ticks and see, are they above or below the zero line? They're below. So that's resistance. It's just the last set of laggard buyers trying for that breakout. But there are more sellers up here than buyers. So that is likely resistance. Maybe not, actually. Right on that zero line. Oh. Sneaky, sneaky market. So embarrassing when this happens. All right, well, they're breaking out again. They've just officially, by getting the ticks back above the zero line, they've now checked off every single box for a breakout. Pushed above the A period high, found support on a retest, brought in enough volume to turn a candle pink, and they've got the ticks. So once again, the target to the upside becomes 38.75. They did not want to make that one easy to stay in a long trade. Coop, why 38.75 is a target? Because that's where the resistance is. That's where the sellers are waiting. The market is always trying to move to wherever the liquidity is, wherever it's waiting to do business. So if you break through one level, you're probably heading to the next. So if they've got enough buyers down here at the A period high, they're looking for sellers, right? They're trying to go up looking for sellers. That's where I suspect they're waiting. Dominic, where can I see this trading chart? This is called Market Profile. The software that I'm using is from a company called Window Trader. There's a link in the description. But pretty much most brokers nowadays have some version of Market Profile. So you can just give it a Google. I'm sure you'll find one for whatever broker you use. Basically, what the Market Profile does is it takes the same information that you get from the candlesticks, and it just shows it to you in 3 dimensions. So you're able to see both, the TPOs like this. That's like a candlestick, right? But then you can also see how much volume traded at each level, and you can see how much time you spent at each level. So, for example, down here, we spent a full hour. If you combine the A, the B, and the J and K period, we spent a full hour down here, whereas we've only spent less than an hour up here. I'm sorry, 2 hours down here, 1 hour up here. Anywhere where the market spends a lot of time, it's likely to find acceptance there. People are going to be willing to do business there. So if the market returns to that place again, there's probably people waiting to do business there again. And of course, the same thing is true of volume. Hence why I have this arrow pointing at the one pink candle that we have here. When the market pulls back down, that's probably where people will want to do business, where they were doing it before. So that's where we look for support. Chirp, do market makers essentially create liquidity? Yeah, I mean that's their whole job, really, the market makers. But that's a whole different ballgame than what we're doing here. You can sign up for a free account with TradingView. Just click out to just go to tradingview.com, just type it in, and you can sign up for a free account. And if you're new to trading, TradingView is my absolute favorite for a paper account because it only costs $4 a month. You can sign up for TradingView for free. You only have to pay $4 a month for the data, And then you can trade on paper. And you can learn this craft without losing money, which in my humble opinion is the best way to do it. Michael, fading this tomorrow? No, sir. Not recommended. Right? We need only zoom out to the daily to see what happens when you try to fade a breakout of balance. So we had balance. Did you want to fade that? Oh, this is BTC. What am I doing? Hold on. Let me get back to the ES. I was like, that looks weird. The daily. There we go. So would you want to fade that candle when it was breaking out of balance? What about that one? What about that one? Balance leads to excess. We spent 3 days balancing around. I think we're ready for some excess. Okay, so the market just created what we call a poor high. That means one of the 30-minute time periods just came within a single tick of a previous. So that tells us that there is a higher probability that the market will come back and repair that poor high, getting continuation to the upside. I won't even type it. Assad, give analysis on gold. Unfortunately, I don't trade gold, so I can't really offer you any kind of edge there. I'm just no expert, but I'm happy to take a look. Oh, that is a disgusting chart, man. Ugh. No, sir, that's bad. Looks like you're about to start balancing on the weekly. So this is a balance area right here on gold. It broke out, balanced higher, came back down, balanced again, and now it's back in this balance area. So you could be looking at a multi-week sideways move here. Grim, how many ticks does each TPO represent? How do you know it's a poor high if your chart is zoomed out? Well, you got to zoom in, I guess, to see it. Although I could be pretty zoomed out and still recognize a poor high. And my tick increment is 2 ticks. So each letter represents a half a point. Andy, market closing soon and no momentum and no movement. I mean, this looks like a pretty big move to me. How do you see support and resistance on the market profile? Well, it's a combination, like I said earlier, of volume and time, right? So where is the liquidity? Where do people want to do business? What the market profile does is it lets you visually see where that is taking place. And that is, like I said, a combination of volume and time, right? So I'm going to start, because intraday is a little more tricky. Let's just start with looking at it bigger picture, right? Let's zoom out a little bit and just look at it more like on the daily. So the market came down to this level. It spent 3 days rotating around in here, tried to go lower, failed to do so. Where did it come back to? Look at this massive node of volume we left behind. Came right back to there. Right? Came right back to where that business was had before. So then it spent 3 more days rotating around there. Then it tried to go higher. Where did it go straight to? That large volume node where business was done before. And then it spent 2 days bouncing around there, pulled right back down. Where did it go to? That large node of volume where business was done before. What did it do? 3 days of balance around that. And now we're breaking out again. So we're likely heading up into this larger node, again, over the daily, not today. So that same concept of the market moving to wherever the liquidity is also happening intraday, minute by minute. So they pushed above the A period high. Where did they come back down to? Where there was liquidity. Now in the M period, we'll be looking for support. Oops. In these same nodes that we just created on the way up. There were buyers happy to do business here an hour ago. Why wouldn't there be right now? So that is our area for support. It's also such a shocker to see that that's right where the largest amount of support has been over the last few weeks. People love to do business in the same place they've done business before. Okay, got another poor high here in the M period. Poor high increases the odds. The market's going to push away, looking for support, and then come back and repair it, continuing higher. So if you're new to the channel, what we like to do at the end of every day in the last half an hour is we throw out this little survey in the chat there. Where do you think the market is going to close? Can we break out above this 3870 level, get some continuation to the upside? Are we going to pull back down and stop somewhere between 3850 and 3870? Or are we heading back down into the range from earlier in the day below that A period high? Let us know where you think the market's going to close. It's a totally anonymous survey. No one will know what you picked, but it is kind of fun to see the group think of what everyone's thinking. So please participate and make a guess. Are we going up, down, or nowhere? Let me know in that survey. 777, do you use this for BTC? I do not, but you could. You can use the market profile for any market that is financial in nature. It's just simply when people ask the question, can you use this for this or that? I would say, can you use candlesticks for that? If you can use TPO as well. It's just the same information viewed differently. Palani, sorry if I mispronounced that. I'm new to the channel and have no idea what you're trading. Is there a tutorial? Better than a tutorial, here's what you should do. Subscribe to the channel, push that little red subscribe button, join the party, and every morning for the first hour of trade, I do this live. So you can come hang out. It's totally free. And you can listen to me, and it'll take, I will sound like I'm talking about complete gibberish in the beginning. But, after a few weeks of watching me explain these things over and over again, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I, of course, have an e-course that I sell that teaches everything. But I would say if you're brand new to it, just start watching the free live streams for a few weeks and see if you dig the vibe before you make a financial commitment. All right, so we're heading up towards that resistance at 38.75. Looking for some sellers up there. Crypto Mojo Life. So basically this shows very detailed data about what's actually going on inside the candles. Correct. Yeah. So the way you look at normal candlesticks is you have the volume at the bottom, right? You got the little volume bars that look like this. So all that's telling you is how much volume traded within that 30-minute period. I mean, sure, that's interesting. Great. I'm so glad. But what do I do carrying it forward? Like, if the market was here and now it's up here, what does it have to do with how much volume traded in this 30 minutes, right? That doesn't help me at all. That doesn't tell me if people want to do business up here or not. So by looking at the volume on the price axis, you can see where they do business. The where is so much more important than the when. So it's the same information. It just gives you a different look at it. All right, we've had 81 votes, less than half of you. Where do you think the market's going to close? Let us know. Speak now or forever hold your peace. 93. Can this be the first survey where we get 100 people voting? There must be 7 of you willing to guess. You think we're going to continue higher? You think we're pulling down? What do you think? No one's going to know what you voted. It's totally anonymous. Two more people. Come on. M period's flirting with a pullback. What do you think? There you go. Got 100 votes. Whoop, whoop. New record. Just crushing it in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Now let's find out what the results are. All right. 50% of you think we're staying above 70 or that we'll close above 70. 30% of you think we're going to stay in this sort of spike up since we broke out of the rotational range. And only 12% of you think we're pulling back down below that A period high. Now, I will just tell you all, generally the chat is completely wrong. We usually like to joke that we want to inverse the chat. So if you wanted to do that, you'd be short the market right now. Too many of you are bullish. That's not good. For what it's worth, my vote is between 50 and 70. I think we close somewhere in this range here. Maybe right around 63-ish. Scooball, M high is weak. Good call. That is a weak high. Probably won't get repaired today, though. Scooball is murderbot after the FOMC. More murder? I wouldn't think so, but we're about to find out. All right, so that support at 63 is starting to break. Next support is at 58. Mark, I'm noticing 3 murder bots. No, sorry, but I always forget the new people are here. So when we use the term murder bot, we're referring to a set of algorithms that kick into gear in the last 10 minutes of the day. So exactly 5 minutes from now at 3:50 p.m., you'll suddenly see a big spurt of volatility and a bunch of volume. The market will just start moving very, very quickly. Sometimes it just kind of grinds around in a certain range very, very fast. We call that a murder knot. And sometimes that sucker just takes off one direction or another, ripping everyone's face off. And that is the murder bot. So that'll kick in exactly 5 minutes. So there's one at 3:50 and then another one at 3:55. So we like to have fun. We call that the murder bot. Grim, are your market profiles regular trading hours, or do you include Globalex? Yeah, so I do, but I have them separated out. So my regular trading hours profile, that is exactly from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then the rest of the time I group in a separate profile that I call the overnight. And I don't pay a lot of attention to references within the overnight. The highs and lows are obviously a very big deal. The high and low of the overnight is a really big deal. And any major nodes of volume or major nodes of time, those can be a really big deal. Look at that. Look at where we spent all our time and brought in all our volume today. Same as the overnight. So I look at those references. And then the most important thing I look at the overnight for is how it reacts to regular trading hours. So do we have, for example, a gap up tomorrow? Does the overnight take us higher? Does it pull us back down into the balance area? Do we just rotate around inside of here? That gives me some insights in the morning as to what to expect for the day. But generally, I'm mostly just focused on the intraday trade. McStockster, you're telling me to disregard, but you know what? I'm going to answer your question anyway, because there might be other people that are curious. Why am I calling that M period high weak? Well, the fact that we pushed up and we stopped exactly a half a point from that resistance we were expecting, that tells us that the people that sold there were short-term traders. They were day traders. And so at some point, they got to take profits on those shorts. And that increases the odds that the market will come back and test that level again. So we make note of that. Doesn't mean it has to happen today, but just keeping track of where the market is weak. It's the same thing with the L period low here. Because those buyers stepped in right at that B period high, that tells us that was weak short-term traders and that the market's likely to come back down and test that level again. So we mark that as weak. One weak reference is no big deal, but when you start to stack up a bunch of them, it significantly increases the odds that they'll get repaired. recoup we will see tomorrow or maybe in the overnight. But if we drop below the initial balance, this is a look above and fail. Correct. But right now it's a successful breakout of balance. So I am extremely bullish moving forward. We got value higher. That's a sign that we're likely starting a new trend higher. We also broke out of balance, and it looks like we're going to close above that balance. So that increases the odds of continuation higher tomorrow. Of course, you're absolutely right. If we pull back down again, well, then it's a look above and fail. But right now, it's giving us absolutely no signal it wants to do that. Quite the opposite. That's the murder bot. So you see how suddenly the tempo really picked up? You can see the amount of volume is just like flying through there. That is the murder bot. All right, so that weak L period low is repaired. Left behind a weak M below. Barbecue. Barbecue. Looks like 12% are going to be right. That is usually the case. Groupthink is not very reliable, unfortunately, when it comes to trading. Some really negative tick readings. Yeah, once the murder bot kicks in, you kind of just step back, relax, let it do its thing. It'll mess up everything. The ticks will go out of whack. All the internals will go out of whack. Eric, is this considered a look above and fail? No, it is not. This was just short-term traders. They got themselves overly long. Pushed right up into resistance. Then you ran out of buyers. So the market had to pull back looking for more. But as long as we're above the balance area, as long as we're above this area right here, it's a breakout. Value. Jim Dalton says we trade value, not price. Value is way higher today. That's the market waving at you. It's being like, hey, look at that beautiful hand. Don't tell me I can't draw. These are the fingers. Hi. It's the market waving at you like, hey, value is higher. Look at all this business we did up here. We want to keep going. So only if we pull back into balance will I start to get bearish for a look above and fail. Otherwise, this to me was what we needed. I also don't let the murder bot affect my feelings at all. I know it's just a computer, what's it called? Like rebalancing a portfolio. So it's no big deal. Mark, that murder bot hurt my feelings today. Well, now you know where it got its name. The murder bot is a cruel, cruel mistress. You're looking to short the Q? Yeah, it's a good area. But not till you get up there. Not till you get up to that resistance. Because once again, man, look at the Q. 3 days it bounced in here. Today, completely stayed broken out all day long. Especially with that when what should happens doesn't, that they created that poor low. The market was rotational. They had a poor low and they didn't repair it. That is a when what should happens doesn't, folks. Bullish. Jefferson, it's called a market profile chart. Also sometimes referred to as TPO charts. Time price opportunities. For the real nerds in the crowd. All right, well, it looks like the portion of the chat that went that was looking for the sell-off made it by 1 point. It was below 38.50 and we closed at 49. So congratulations to that 13%. As I've been saying, to me, this is bullish. To me, this is the breakout of balance, probably the first day of a multi-day trend higher. You all think I'm crazy, but that's what I believe. So I'll be watching the overnight when tomorrow morning opens. We'll see where we open. As long as we're above, this area around 38.30, I will be looking for continuation to the upside. Thank you all so very much for joining me. If you have not yet, please smash that like button on your way out. I sure would appreciate it. And come hang out with us tomorrow morning. We'll be here at the market open. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.